I only found out in my early 20s that I was dyslexic, but I think the way that means I think has really helped me bring something different to the way I lead businesses and certainly to publishing.
This week on My Business Leader Secret, we take a trip to the Riverside in East London to visit a venerable old publishing house which has had something of a facelift. It's gone from a membership club selling out-of-copyright classic books to a more Gen Z-focused organisation publishing books like sci-fi and fantasy direct to consumer online, with a keen eye on social media trends like book talk. The transition has happened under the leadership of Joanna Reynolds, who became CEO in 2016 and has returned the once struggling publisher to profit.
So I'm a dyslexic. When I was young, my boss gave me Edward de Bono's Lateral thinking to help me understand why the way I thought and the way my mind worked was different to quite a few people around me. So what does that mean? Well, most businesses have vertical thinkers. So vertical thinkers come at a problem in a very systematic, linear way and go step by step to come to their solution. And once they've got to the solution, they believe that's the right solution. But the question that they rarely ask is, why did I start at that point? Because that's vital, because if you start at one point, you'll come to one solution. If you start at a different point, you could come to a completely different solution, but they believe that is the right solution. But lateral thinkers are very creative. They go wide and they think creatively, and they come at something and say, okay, so what have we got here? How does it work? Let's go out and come back in. And often in doing that, you'll make mistakes, and that's okay. Making a mistake is actually a good thing, because you learn from the mistakes as well as from the things that go well. So you make the mistake, you learn from it, and you move on. They'll come to many decisions along the way, and as they do that, they'll discuss them and interact with the people around them and say, look, what about this? How does this work? Do you think this is the right way to go forward? But it's different to vertical thinking, because it doesn't have to go in those very sort of straight blocks to get to where you need to get to. And one of the things I've always been able to do, without even realising I did, if you see what I mean, is think broadly and say, okay, what's out there that makes a difference to this? Or what should we be looking at? Or would that thing be interesting to this? And how you bring it all together. And yet, I've been using data all my career and stats, and I'm really good at numbers, and I know how numbers work, but I will take all of that and look at it broadly as well and say, okay, this is what the data's telling us, but what else is it telling you? What else might be in there? So it makes you ask lots of questions. But that's been vitally important for my career and me running businesses, because I just bring something different and sort of almost external into what we're doing.